Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. We're back with Mr. Paul Ferguson. Now, the last video we did, we had Shanda Vander Ark and her whole contact with the police, with her whole fake crying and shit. Absolutely crazy. Now we're moving on into his story. No coaching, she's not hovering over him, able to, give little hints and answers to what he's supposed to say. He's just over here doing his best to act innocent. Now, throughout this interview, you're also going to notice a few tendencies that he does. He's grabbing onto his knees, moving his hands in weird positions and shit, almost like he's autistic, right? But throughout the interview, I want you guys to notice how it's almost as if he's faking it, because the shit almost looks like he's acting. It's kind of convincing, but you can see it after a while, and I'm gonna point it out in a few instances. But anyways, people, without further ado, get the things you guys need. Let's go ahead and check this out. It's gonna be a good one. She's a brilliant moron. She's good at them books, but she's stupid. Anyways. The interrogation of Paul Ferguson, people. I thought it didn't exist. It exists, y'all. I know it exists, but I thought I would have to look for it, and I know how long it would take and if anybody would care. But hey, we got it. Let's check it out.
Here with the sound is kind of messed up. Gotcha. So I'm going to turn that on to you just in case it helps. Yeah.
Paul just is a weirdo. He doesn't have anything wrong with him. Look at how he's sitting down. Weird vibes. You're 20, my guy. You're 20. Why are you sitting like that? Just saying. Just saying.
You came down here with Officer Stephens, is that something?
Yes.
How did that kind of alter inspire? I don't know how you ended up here.
I was, from what I've...
Someone said, "Buckle up for this one." Shit, everybody, grab your shit because we're in for a good one.
I know that my mother had come, I think, down here.
Okay.
Or something. I think it was something in the corridor. I don't exactly know the full details.
Okay.
But she left my stepfather's phone with me. I don't have any access to anything. The only thing that I would be able to do was if the person she's with, I think his name is Stephen or
Stanley.
Yes. If he would contact, I would be able to pick that up. But
okay.
Nothing else.
Were you supposed to work today or
no?
So you didn't have work today?
No, I've got a couple of days off.
Okay. You go back
Sunday. Yeah, I think it's a morning shift.
Are you working 2 different jobs? Did you say you're working 2 different jobs?
No, I used to work 2 different jobs.
I heard you say that.
In Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Because I think your brother was like, I want to work 2 jobs. And you're like, no, you don't.
No. 4 hours of sleep maximum was a nightmare.
That's a joke. That's not even funny, actually. Huh. Yeah, 4 hours doesn't sound like a lot to get anything done. What kind of jobs were you doing then?
Fast food.
Okay.
And I had one before, and then after I graduated from an alternative school early, I started a second one that was by my biological father's demands, basically.
Okay. Have you talked to him at all recently, biological father? Does he know kind of what's going on? Or?
I don't think quite yet. The last time we talked to him was last week.
Okay.
He and my stepmother.
Fast food. You don't say. Yo, bro he's creepy. He's creepy as fuck.
Got a divorce. So they called and let us know about all that.
What is your relationship like with him? I mean, do you associate with him at all or not really?
Not really. I found out that a lot of what he's told me about my biological mother up here was nothing more than blatant lies.
Okay.
He said that she didn't care for me, that she never wanted to see me, which were both lies. It was just, he's a control freak.
Okay.
And he's very manipulative.
Okay.
My stepmother's names were never even on anything for like paying bills or for school stuff. It was all him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was very much in
Yes.
control of everything.
Yes. So, and, I know that night Timothy did eat because we had pizza. He had 3 slices.
I want to stop it for just a second because
Yeah, sorry.
that's okay. I don't want to talk anything specific about the case just yet. Since the police showed up at your house and they brought you down here, I want to invite you some rights before we talk about that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. Let me get you, let me get you Mirandized real quick because you're about to give me some dope ass information. Shh. Hold on. Let me just read this. It's a standard little thing, it's called your Miranda, right? It's nothing. Just let me read this shit for you real fast, and then continue with that 3 slices of pizza story. That sounds so intriguing. Let me figure that out. Let me know what you know. Don't worry about what I just said. Don't worry about that.
What I do want you to know, though, is that we went through the phones, okay?
Okay.
And we're beginning to go through the phones, and there's a lot of evidence in the phones, and I know that you're kind of aware of communication between yourself and your mother.
Yes.
And those sort of things. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about.
And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about, the devious and evil messages you and your mother were sending to each other. You had 4 hours to sleep for your 2 jobs, but you had enough time to fuck with Timothy. Yeah. So, just a few things I want to talk to you about. You'll never see the light of day ever again. This is your introduction to being institutionalized. So, enjoy yourself.
But, certainly those are very serious things that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And, from what I saw, it sounds like you were compassionate and that you cared about him, and you sent some pictures that were like, he's looking too skinny and we need to feed him. And, there's sometimes you got frustrated, but at the end of the day, you kept coming back to caring. But the end result of that, he passed away, right? And he passed away.
Not a single lawyer in sight. Shanda, what are you doing? Shanda Vander Ark, what are you doing? You sent your 20-year-old doofus in here with no lawyer. What did you think was gonna happen?
Away from not eating food. But I want you to be aware of this stuff, okay? So these are your Miranda rights, right? So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to talk to an attorney and the right to his presence before or during any questioning. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, one will be appointed at public expense to represent you before any questioning. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When we talk about, I just jump right in.
And he read off the card. Listen, when they read off the card, that means they want it to stick so hard that it never lets go. You know what I'm saying? Word for word, we're going to read it off the card. I used to always think like, oh, he didn't memorize his Miranda rights. What the fuck? He didn't blah, blah, blah. No. I noticed on minor arrests, they'll read you your Miranda rights and they'll just memorize it and say it to you. But if it's like a big arrest and they really want to make sure nothing can happen, because you might missay a word, or the attorney might say you didn't say it properly, or whatever. When they read it off the card, that's how you know that their intention is to bury you, word for word.
Into it. I know that we talked yesterday, and I know that not everything that we talked about was the truth yesterday. That's okay. You don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel guilty about not telling the truth to me, okay? I want you to just focus on yourself right now and think about what's best for you, and let's try to get to the truth of what really happened with your brother, because he deserves that. There's clearly a lot of messages about stuff that you guys are doing with him, about what he's eating, about restricting his food. How did that all work? Like, what was he allowed to eat?
We stopped the food restrictions recently because we had noticed his thin. We wanted to get that back on. We didn't want any of this. We never wanted him to be injured or hurt. Okay. I loved him so much.
I loved him so much.
I can certainly tell that. When you say we, you're talking about your mother.
Yes, she loved him. We wanted what's best. Yeah. The thing is, he was stuck in the past.
Okay. So you stopped the food restriction. When did that kind of happen? Like,
when did that kind of happen?
2 weeks, approximately. We were hoping that we could get enough where he would be safe, and then we could continue to add it back to where we wouldn't
Oh,
have
see, I
to.
didn't know that, Vanessa. So they're requiring you to read off the card? That's crazy. I guess it doesn't really take that much time. But yeah, I see some cops do it. I see some not do it. But that's only what we're able to see. So maybe, like you said, commonly everybody's just reading off a card.
Worrying we could.
What were the restrictions?
We made sure that it was still something that gave him enough calories and everything. It was rice or bread, and like I said last week, he got pizza.
Okay. What were they in place for, like, in the first place?
Sneaking food over and over and over. Okay. We've tried everything. We were nice. We tried different consequences, but he just...
We tried different consequences. We were nice. Weeds. Why does this sound like a crew, bro? This is your mom's job. She has one kid at this point, 2 kids at this point. You're a grown-ass man. The fuck? Get the fuck up out of here and go to work. You know what I'm saying? That's... we did this. We did that. That sounds like some tag teaming. Like... he's not even realizing how bad he's making this look. I mean, it already looks horrible. Who doesn't have a password on their phones? First of all, it usually takes them weeks to get into a phone. So clearly somebody didn't have a password on their phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is...
He never listened.
What were some of the other types of consequences? Like prior to, like, are we talking, like...
We did take away his devices.
Okay.
Because that was also because he wouldn't stay on his school sites and would just go and try and play games or watch YouTube.
Okay.
But the thing is, he should have been held back so much.
Yeah.
But he passed all of his final exams. So I don't think it was my stepmother. My stepmother was amazing.
Yeah.
But I believe it was my father's doing.
Okay. Helping him pass exams. Was it all online school?
No, back in Oklahoma, he went to public. The thing is, he never really did any of the other work, but when it came to final exams, he had everything he needed to know. So they let him move to the next grade, which was just...
Right. So, you guys lived together back in Oklahoma?
Yeah.
What was life like back there?
Hectic.
Okay.
My step nieces, my stepmother's grandchildren lived with us.
Okay.
Because of stuff that was going on between their mother and their father. My stepmother had custody.
Yeah.
And we had, at that point, we were living in a 4-bedroom with 8 people in the house.
Jeez.
Yeah. And...
Did you share a room with him then?
Yes,
okay.
And it
and they shared rooms.
smelled.
This is probably where the hate started between the two of them. Because Paul, believe it or not, he did not like his brother. I know everybody's like, oh, nobody really likes their little brother, but he really didn't like his brother, like on some other shit. And they're gonna uncover all of that because remember they lived together at first and they still had issues. He was still bullying his brother. So the whole thing about some got my eye. The whole thing about Shanda really rubbing off on him is probably just partially true.
Because even then, even when the bathroom was released a couple feet away, he wouldn't get up and go.
Okay. And what is that? You kind of told me about it yesterday, but you said there was some sort of problem that he had that caused that, or?
Yeah.
I don't
honestly know. That's what I've assumed.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure it's been basically his whole life that this has been happening. And it's not just that. He's urinated in places back in Oklahoma, in his closet, dressers, everything.
Okay. He's, what type of, disorders does he have that you're aware of?
I know he has ADHD. I believe he has sensory processing.
Okay.
I was never there for any sort of autism spectrum test, but from what I've seen, I know that probably was a thing. I also know he was motor and speech impaired. He couldn't run right and talk right. I think when he was younger, he had to have a surgery on his ears to have tubes put in because he has heightened hearing that was very loud noises could be painful.
Okay. So too much.
Yeah. The fact is that he could hear my stepmother talking with a friend about going to a movie with the TV when it was on really high volume.
Okay.
one of those sort of pointers.
What about you? Do you have any of those sort of things or anything?
I have ADHD.
Okay.
And I think they said I was diagnosed with sensory processing, but from what my mother has told me, that's just no.
What is that? I'm not sure. What's sensory processing?
It's basically when you overreact to things way too much.
Yeah.
And I guess
What's up, Carol? How you doing?
loud noises and things
Okay.
and bright lights are disturbing. For me, there's not really any of that. The only problems I have is when someone's music has a lot of bass drumming in it.
Okay.
For me, that'll feel like someone's smashing my ribs with a mallet.
Okay.
That's why I don't really listen to music very high if it's got bass drums, because it hurts.
Yeah, that would make sense. Did you go to school?
Yes, I went to the school back in Oklahoma. I graduated.
Okay.
I've even got the diploma and I stand in my room.
Okay. So you graduated from high school. What you kind of
All about that bass.
I know that my father had kicked me out after, I think May 2 years ago or so.
So May of 20? Is that
20? Yeah, and due to COVID, the graduation had been postponed to July. And I managed to get my bio mom's number at that point and was capable of talking to her and telling her how all of this had happened.
Yeah.
And I also asked some of the things about what Dad had told me, the whole, did you really not care?
Right.
And from what he told, and I'm pretty sure it's scientifically impossible that
No, really. How can you sit like that as a grown-ass man? I don't know. It's like balls up in the air, feet all toes exposed and shit, hugging your knees. That shit is insane to me. That shit is crazy to me. You know what I mean? But the self-awareness just really ain't there for him. It's crazy.
Tubes undone.
Who sits like that?
Gabriel, which, from what I'm guessing, that's an impossibility, isn't it?
Okay.
So he's a miracle. He's a little miracle child.
Fair enough.
He's a blessing to this world.
Yeah. Does your mom feel like that? Certainly. That he's a blessing.
And he's holding that position. Like, he ain't giving up. He ain't letting up on it. This is his position the whole interview. I don't know. I'm just saying, it seems like he's not letting up on that. That's how he sits, you know? Deal with it.
So much. She loved every single one of us, but my dad's control-ish, freaky nature was just, he didn't want her having any contact and screwing all of his control up.
Okay.
And there was a thing back in Oklahoma where I had problems with emotional release. I was so terrified of him that I didn't ever want to release any of the negative emotions I ever had around him. There were times where I wanted to say no, but I was so terrified that I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Here, I can release my anger.
Yeah.
And I do it in the right ways. I never do it in any way that I'm not supposed to.
Okay.
And if I unintentionally...
He's literally snitching on them. He's like, yeah, you know, everything was strict over there, but here, no, I could let my anger out. Don't worry. I don't do it in the negative ways, like, you know, beat on him or restrict food or put Tabasco down his throat. No. I do it in the right ways. You know, I go and punch a wall. I go to the boxing gym. Like, that's why I'm so skinny.
With my mother, I realized it and I apologize, telling her that I did not mean to, that I just slipped a small amount and I'm going to go and do something to calm down.
Yeah, Christina, it's probably a comfort thing. I agree. It's definitely one of those things like, oh, I got caught stealing candy. Let me curl up and hold my fucking knees as a 20-year-old. That shit is crazy, bro. That shit is crazy. You're like, okay.
Any sort of consequence for your mom if you slipped up with her attitude-wise, or how would that work?
There were times when I would cop an attitude that was...
He's a really good actor, but they did say his behavior... But they did say it was behavior from abuse. I don't know. I just don't think he was autistic. I think he knew how to look autistic because his brother was. And he was probably jealous of his brother because he had all these like cool ass abilities and shit. And he probably couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, as an older brother, he couldn't sneak anything because his brother's going to hear it. He probably did shit to him in the room that kind of pissed him off. So it's probably like a building up, but he just took it to another level. It probably built up. He had reasons to not like Timothy, but I feel like obviously he took it too far.
Unnecessary, and she would have me get off devices for maybe 15 minutes, because usually that was what it was revolved around. Because I'll be honest, I have an addiction to my devices.
Okay.
It's not something I can really do without, I guess. I don't know. I never had very much of that back in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
My dad was strict. He didn't even give me a phone. My sister and my stepsister had phones before I did. And that was due to the fact that he could not raise a male.
Right.
And at first he thought that the ADHD was just ADD, because like my mother, I could hyperfocus, which is actually a symptom of ADHD.
Right. And then, so now you're in...
Everybody who has a great self-diagnosis for themselves usually doesn't have that thing. He's like, yeah, I have ADHD. They thought I had ADD, but it actually turns out that I have... Nah, bro. You're bullshitting. Come on now.
I know we talked yesterday about how you're paying bills.
Yep, and unlike my father, she doesn't force me to give her half of my paycheck. He forced that on me.
Good.
And I was working basically minimum wage at both.
Well, half your paycheck is a little
low. Nightmares. And the thing is that my stepmother didn't even know about that until after I had moved and I had told her. Okay. And she apologized so heavily because she was just going to want some stuff to help with the rent.
The judge did say he was a psychopath. He is. Like, I mean, I feel like he has emotion. I feel like most psychopaths don't really have that much emotion attached to what they're doing. They just want to do what they want to do. I feel like he has some emotion right there.
At times?
Yeah.
What's up, Tequila? How you doing?
He asked to borrow money. He never paid it back. And my mother has paid it back every time. Whether it's in a way like paying for the bike payments for my electronic bike, because, you know, we put a down payment and then we have to do the consecutive payments for it.
Was that your first, would you consider that like your first big purchase on your own? Your electric bike, or have you purchased like more expensive things?
More expensive than that? I don't believe so. No.
What about PCs? How much you spend a decent amount of money on computers, or trying to just piece them together, or?
We spent good amounts because Minecraft is something I've always loved.
Yeah.
And because for me, for the ADHD, being able to build and be creative is just something that I absolutely adored.
Okay.
And it also was something that I liked doing for YouTube. I have a YouTube channel myself. It's not popular or anything, but
it's not popular like AG Tactical. You know what I'm saying? It's not popping like our shit. You know, it's not popular like what we got going on over here. But you know what I'm saying? He had one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish he shouted it out. We would have checked that immediately. I would have went straight over to it. I hope he still shouts it out. Shout out your YouTube, buddy, please. We want to see it, please.
It is very. It's something that I was inspired by.
Just tell us the fucking name. That's all I want to know.
Preston plays in the recently passed Technoblade.
Yeah. Okay. So
he's gonna be playing Mineshaft in prison. Nah, David, you're wrong for that shit. That's exactly what they finna be playing with him, though. They about to abuse this little man shit. They about to turn him, man, listen. I'm not even gonna say it. Use your imaginations.
Yeah.
And Timothy comes about a year ago. I think you said yesterday the same day.
Oh, the feet are coming down. The nuts are going down to the seat like they're supposed to. Wow, I no longer feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, the same week that I left the house, I moved here into Michigan, I think on the 30th.
Okay.
because for the time after I had moved out of my parents' house, I stayed with my Uncle Dave and Aunt Linda, who both had actually been tricked by my father to also believe that my mother was bad, until she managed to clear the air.
Yeah. So you say the same date, but a year later. Does that sound right?
I moved here at a later date, but he moved up here on the day I was basically kicked out.
Gotcha.
My dad had basically put a timeline, like I had to move out by a certain
What's
date.
up, Miss Phoenix Flame? How you doing?
My own 2 feet, which the thing is, he never prepared me for any of this. He just, in any of that, he just, like I said, I love him, but most of the respect I had for him is gone.
So Timothy comes up here. What's life like immediately when he gets up here?
It was good at first. The thing is, this has happened before. Not like moving up from somewhere, but for the whole thing where I think he said, back in Oklahoma, I think once or twice, he had said something about being ill.
Okay.
And we had put him in my stepmother and father agreed on this, that he could be institutionalized.
Right.
And when he got back, the first couple of weeks were good. He didn't misbehave, but then after that, it just reverted back to what he was doing before.
Okay.
The destructiveness and everything.
Explain that, like the destructiveness.
It was very dangerous.
He's 19 here, 20 now. I thought he was 20 then. But okay, I'll take your word for it. I mean, still, you're a grown-ass man. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any difference to me. But thank you for the correction.
Pull the outlet covers off. He would screw into light fixtures. It was...
Okay.
Our house in Edmond was his room. He'd pull the studs out of the wall, rip off the paint. It was, yeah.
Were you able to have a conversation with him like you and I are having, like a back and forth conversation, or he wasn't able to talk like that?
He could talk, but the thing is that it would mostly be hard to understand.
Okay.
Because of the speech imparation, I think it's called. I don't know what that word is.
Speech impediment?
Yeah, there we go.
But
he was in therapy for that and the motor.
When he up here?
No, in Oklahoma.
Do you know of him being in any therapy or anything up here?
No.
Okay. Do you know if you ever went to the doctor at all?
Here? No, honestly, we never, until, I don't know, we managed, since we stopped the last hunger strike and managed to get him back to a safe weight, we were hoping and praying that he was fine.
How long ago do you think you probably should have taken him to the doctor?
Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I'd say the day after the divorce. We got the message about the divorce. And the thing is that my mother can't even face my father right now. She doesn't want to call him because the one thing that she and I both know is that he's going to hurl every ounce of blame that he can at her.
Right. So what's
Yeah, no, everybody in the chat, shout out Mary, man. She's out here, doing the Lord's work. Out here doing God's work. What is going on? Just dropping care packages out the sky. Nah, we appreciate you, Mary. Shit.
When was that divorce?
I think it was
100. Like, come on now.
Exactly.
Anyways, let's
a week
continue.
ago today or tomorrow. Something like that.
So about a week ago. You thought,
yes. Yeah,
I saw on your phone that you had sent a couple pictures to your mom.
Yes.
Pretty skinny, and you said, hey, he's nothing but skin.
Yeah, I was very concerned. It just.
What do you think then? Maybe would have been a good time to take him to the doctor, or?
Yeah, honestly, that probably would have been one too. I don't know.
And then you sent a picture of his legs that were just basically gone, right? So
yeah.
No wonder he can't stand, or something along the lines.
Yeah. You might need a little support every so often, like he put his hand against the wall or grabbed the rail of the stairs. But after a couple of seconds, he'd let go and be fine.
Okay.
It was never anything major.
Yeah. When was the last time he was really talking to you, able to have a conversation, or at least try to have a conversation?
Last time he actually talked was 3 days ago, but the day before, or the day after that, the day before yesterday, he talked a small amount in the morning, but then he just sort of was making groans and moans, and it concerned me. As my mother was driving me to work, I recommended that maybe we should take him to the hospital.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that ever happened or not.
What did she say about that when you made that recommendation?
I don't know.
I mean, you can't take him back to the hospital. Bro, look, the second you take that kid to the hospital, they're going to look at you like, what the fuck? And then you go to jail. Probably not as long as life and 30 to 100 years, but it's still going to be an issue. So Shanda knew she couldn't do that. They had to get him back to his regular weight, which is what I always think her plan was. I don't think she wanted to starve him into the ground and kill him. She wanted to starve him to the brink of death and then bring his weight back up. Then starve him into the brink of death and then bring his weight back up. You know that whole thing about his first hunger strike? I honestly believe it. They probably just don't have everything or didn't display everything for the court. But he probably had a first starvation and then they gave him some food. And then the second starvation just went a little too far and a little too much. And then obviously, he passes away. But yeah, he for sure was starved, like in segments.
It was like as I was getting out of the car and shutting the door.
So we're talking. So today's the 7th.
Oh shit! Yesterday. Another gifted. Shout out Gerda. I need to figure out how to pronounce your name. I appreciate you. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys, man. What's going on?
The 5th. He talked some in the morning. He was responsive.
What's up, Dreadhead?
That much I know.
What's the deal with the photograph in the bathtub of his face? Like zoomed in on his face.
He's been taking a bath.
Okay.
And I went in there to check on him at one point, and he's just kind of laying there. I'm like, "Bud, you okay?" He didn't respond, but he was looking around, so...
Bud, you okay?
And he was breathing, I know that much.
Yeah.
So...
Okay. So, at that time... But he wasn't talking at that time?
No, and it started to concern me. I'm not sure if I texted Mama about it or not.
Well, you sent a picture to her.
Yeah, I probably should have said something about the ER at that point, though.
Well, certainly...
It's so stupid.
You have to think about it like this, right? She's a grown adult. And if she sees that, that's not all on you, right? You made, from what I see, you made numerous attempts to say, we need to do something different. Right now is not a time about blaming people, but it's a time to try to figure out, when could we have changed things? What could we have done differently? How did we get to the point where we were at? Because, clearly where you guys got to.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you, Vanessa.
That wasn't a nice, enjoyable bath, though, right? That was a punishment bath, right? That's a cold, ice-cold bath. And that's hard to understand.
I did wash, I did tell him that if he wanted to wash up, and he did, but then in the middle of it, I think the whole laying there in a daze happened.
When he's getting these ice baths, I know there's numerous of them, right? I mean, because I've read through the messages.
Yes.
How are you getting the ice? Like, where's it coming from?
We have an ice machine upstairs. It's not a lot. It can barely create any. It's enough to make it a full-on.
But it's a cold bath.
Yeah.
And you're putting ice in there? Like, one dump ice, 2 dump?
One dump, yeah. It's maybe...
One dump, just one.
And then you're just running cold water, or what type of water?
The water doesn't exactly go cold. Okay. It says there's a cold button, but it's basically sort of lukewarm-ish.
How many times would you estimate that you guys gave cold baths as a punishment for not behaving or whatever, for whatever reason?
I think for punishments, it was...
I think for punishment, it was... You know what I mean? He's doing all this extra shit, trying to act like... He's acting, y'all. I feel like he's a better actor than his mom because I feel like he's acting autistic.
I don't exactly know the number, but it wasn't a lot.
Are we talking like 5, 10, 20, every day, every other day? Like, any idea?
5. But
Whose idea was it?
Makes me sick to think about an ice bath for 8 to 9 hours. I mean, how can you even?
Bath as a punishment?
Yeah, how did he even survive that long?
I wasn't sure if it would be a punishment effective or not.
Do you remember the first time you guys did it? Like why? Like what did he do?
Not exactly.
What did he do on that day that you sent the photo that made you have to give him a cold bath?
I think it was that he not only peed but also pooped in bed, and my mother wasn't too happy because it absolutely reeked.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about bed.
I mean, it would absolutely reek if you shit the bed, you know what I'm saying? But you don't, therefore, give a kid a soldier punishment of an ice bath for 8 hours. What the fuck is wrong with you? And then they're like, oh, and get some more bags of ice prepared for tomorrow in case we need more ice. Like, they were preparing. This was a little mother-son project. You know how you have the little mother-son bonding projects? They were having a bonding project together. Shit is crazy. They're both psychopaths.
Into the house and been through all the messages.
Yeah.
Where did he sleep most of the nights? In that closet?
Yes.
When did that kind of start happening? Or had he always been staying in there?
No, he hadn't always.
Okay.
But the thing was, the loft bed, if you've noticed, just screws and stuff, that was his doing.
Okay.
And we couldn't get it safely back.
Yeah. So, he's sleeping in the closet?
Yes. We made sure that it was cleaned. He had a mattress in there, but then he decided to rip off the cover, like a sort of plastic cover we put on there to keep it from getting smelly and disgusting. Mm-hmm. We always wanted what's best for him. I don't know.
So you guys decide to move him into the closet. There's an alarm on the door. What's that for?
When he would try and sneak, because if you notice, there was also one on the garage door. That was also because, there's some food in there that he would try and sneak.
Right.
And it wasn't just that he was hungry at some points for those. It was that he wanted something sweet. And at times he would be taking stuff that was going to have plans for food, actual food.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I see exactly what you're saying.
And I don't know about the whole, just bread at some points, but we did start giving him actual better food.
When you talk about the bedroom being moved into that closet, is that your idea or is that your mom's idea?
That was my mother's. Yes.
And so how long do you think he was staying in that closet for?
Couple of weeks, maybe.
Couple of weeks.
I think
staying in the closet.
We truly had started activating the alarm on the door every night after we had found that he would sneak out and get back up on.
Yeah.
Which was loft bed. Where, like I said, that thing was dangerous at that point because he had been screwing around with the bolts and screws, and at any point it could have given way and he could have gotten seriously injured.
Right. Yeah. So he moves into there.
He really has the script down, though. This is Shanda talking. Because if you remember her cross-examination, she was saying the same thing. Oh, the bed was unsafe. And, if he had gone up there, he could have got hurt. So we had to throw him in a fucking 4x4 closet. You know, that made sense. He's literally copying and pasting what she says to him. So this crazy lady is just spewing bullshit to herself, to her son, to Timothy, all in the name of a little torture, just a little torture. This is fun for us.
And there is that just to prevent. What is that for?
That was after I think we had gone to like 3 plastic covers that he had shredded.
Yeah.
Before we decided to put down
I heard about that. I heard he complains about his jail cell and how things are uncomfortable. Bro, they should make him sleep on the floor. Like with nothing. That's what they should do.
And honestly, I had expected him to complain, but he didn't, and I don't know.
So there's this restriction on food. He talked about bread. For how long was he just eating just bread?
A week or 2.
What was he kind of eating before that?
We do ramen, sandwiches, and I think at some points we actually give him like a meal.
We actually gave him a meal, okay.
What, why was it that he couldn't have meals?
Because we're trying to torture him, bro.
I mean, the whole sneaking.
What I don't understand is like, okay, Shanda Vander Ark, right? Boom, she's doing all this shit to her son. But remember that other case we did? Her name was she had like this stepson, Gander. I forgot her name, but she had a son named Gander. Gannon, Jesus, she had a son named Gannon, right? And you know she did what she did to him, but that was her stepson. She didn't produce him. You know what I mean? He didn't come out of her vagina. This one, she actually made him. Like, this is her son, like her biological son. That's what I don't really understand. How can you do that to something that you created? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of the prolonged just torture tactics. That seems a little crazy to me. Letitia Stauk, sorry. Dumbass lady. But that's what I'm saying. Like, her, I understand why she did all that. Because, well, I don't understand, but I'm saying I more understand why somebody would do that. Because it's not yours. Who cares? Whatever. But something that's yours, that's weird. She's really a psycho, like, to another degree.
Because he was sneaking food?
A lot, yeah. We, over and over and over. There would literally be times where I would be sitting on the couch playing.
Yeah.
And then I'd look up and he's there grabbing something.
Yeah. And so, whose idea was it for him to just eat bread? Is that your idea?
No.
Whose idea was that?
My mother's.
Tell me about the hot sauce. I know that was used as both the punishment and it was put on the bread. Was it always on the bread?
Not always, no. But the thing is, it still hardly did anything for him.
Yeah.
There would be times where it would do something for me because I'd accidentally rub my eye after I put it on there. It was, ow.
Yeah. So you're putting, what dictates whether or not there's hot sauce on the bread that he's eating? What decides that?
I don't know. Whenever my mother told me to put hot sauce on it, I did. It was normally a thin layer to make sure that it wouldn't be too much. Because from what I know, the Ghost, or the California Reaper is, 2,000 Scoville?
Oh, and they're giving him some shit with Reaper peppers in it? What the fuck are you talking? Oh, yeah, we just gave him a thin layer. You know, just a little. They were really out here they weren't trying to kill him. They're trying to torture him. That's crazy. What the fuck? You know, it's crazy how the detective can just sit there and be like, yeah. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Just a thin, yeah, it's fine. It's cool. You know, just super not irritated, nothing. I would be so irritated. Like, you know, you would want to smack him a little bit, you know? Open hand smack him. Just to see a little red show up on his face, you know, kind of give me some, just, you know what I mean? But, yeah, he's real professional. They would have had to pull me out real quick because I just would have smacked him a couple of times, give him a nice heavy little, you know?
Million Scoville.
What does that mean?
It's the hot sauce.
Make him feel like the bitch he is, you know what I'm saying?
Heat index, basically.
Okay. And that's pretty high?
Very.
So, how long have you guys been using the hot sauce for?
Almost a month, maybe.
A month of fucking Carolina Reaper hot sauce.
Or was that on other stuff too?
I think one time we put it in some rice.
Okay.
But after that, I don't think we did that again.
What was it used for, right? Because you're giving him bread as his meal. What's the purpose of the hot sauce?
I know it was punishment, but honestly, I don't think it was that useful because, like I said, he had no feeling in his tongue. He totally bit a hole in it at one point and didn't even feel it.
Was he eating this bread with the hot sauce, or was he?
Yeah, he was.
Is that really the only things he had to eat those days, or would he get other things to eat?
From the bread and rice, other than that, not that I know of.
Okay. So for how long do you think he just ate rice and bread and hot sauce?
Maybe the 4 months. Maybe.
Or
1 month, sorry. Jeez. I was thinking 4 weeks, and my brain scrambled that.
We totally understand. I understand what you're saying. So maybe about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you see a decline in him during that 4 weeks of losing even more weight or being even less responsive? Or what changed when you moved into doing that?
I think it was.
It's funny because Paul is kind of an open book. A month of hot sauce. That's fucking crazy. And yes, everybody who's just realizing you became members because of Mary, everybody shout her out. Appreciate her. He's just such an open book. He just keeps talking and talking and talking. He might lie every here and there, but he's pretty much telling the truth. And the fact that she let him in there with no lawyer is still kind of just messing me up. I'm like, wow, lady, you took the bar exam and passed first try. Like, you didn't know not to put your stupid ass son in there without a lawyer? This is Butthead, bro. This is Butthead from, Beavis and Butthead. He would be Butthead. Like, bro, don't know. Come on now. Not the smartest guy not the sharpest tool in the shed, I would say.
There would be times where it would take him a moment to respond. At first, I thought it was just him acting, but then I was getting concerned. I think a week or so, maybe ago.
Okay. That his responses are delayed. Is that?
Yeah, and
as a matter of fact, I think you mentioned that to your mom multiple times, right? That he doesn't seem to be responding. That he can't walk very well. That he's stumbling. I think you mentioned those things.
Yeah.
What was her response to those things?
I think she was thinking, because there was one point where he did that, but it was before he was thin.
Yeah.
And it scared the crap out of me, but then he admitted to my mother later that day while I was at work that it was an act.
Okay.
So I guess she made the mistake of believing that was what it was. I know that he's done stuff like that back in Oklahoma too. He would do something that would scare the crap out of us to make us believe that something was wrong. And several times here, he faked seizures. I've seen it and I've also seen what happens because back in Oklahoma, he had seizures from medication problems.
Okay.
But yeah, I know that I can tell the difference. And at one point, Gabriel had just barely walked back into Mom and Adam's room.
Amanda said, Christina, was hot sauce soaked in bread, 4 pieces, and if he was slightly hungry after 30 minutes, he could have another 4 pieces of just bread. No mention of rice in text. Bread, bro, nothing but carbs. Shit, I would hate existence. Fucking hot sauce and bread. This lady is man. She's crazy. Like, what happened, Shanda? What happened? What did he do to you? What did the 15-year-old do to you? That's the question. Or was she just evil to the core?
Try that again. Had Gabriel been there, he would have been even more terrified than he already was, because like we said, he was there for the stroke and the seizures, so... Yeah.
The hot sauce. Whose idea was it to get hot sauce as punishment? Was that your idea?
I honestly don't remember that part. I don't remember whose it was. I know that before we were using the California, we were using ghost pepper sauce.
Where did these sauces come from?
I think it was either Amazon or Walmart apps.
Okay. Did you ever go to the store and buy any of
them? No, we didn't ever.
Did you ever order any of those yourself? Or who was ordering the hot stuff?
My mother is, but she would ask if I could help her pay for it, which...
Okay.
Like I said, she's been amazing. She's never demanded money.
Yeah. I saw a message that where she asks you.
So I knew that she wasn't just going, if I said it not that moment, she would have understood, unlike my father.
Yeah. So the hot sauce on bread. If you ever put hot sauce on bread, was it ever your own decision to put hot sauce on bread?
No.
Sometimes you were left in charge of the 2 kids, right?
Yes.
How often was that you were in charge?
Sometimes it was during the mornings where she would put around.
How did she treat her other children? Well, her and her older daughter don't speak, so that's telling. I think they're gonna let him out because he's not gonna do nothing violent in jail. They might shank him and kill him or do some crazy shit. He might not survive jail, but if he survives his little 30-year run, they'll let him out. He'll be a cool 50, a smooth 50-year-old virgin. Imagine that. You know that movie, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Imagine 50-year-old virgin, fresh out of prison. That should be a whole new movie concept. That would be I would watch that shit. Yeah, he's fucked.